Hi, Ray here. Good morning and welcome to Vancouver. It was pure serendipity that brought me here yesterday after an uneventful ferry ride from Vancouver Island to the big city here. Right here on the east side of this hotel, overlooking the intersection of West Broadway and Heather Street. Because 41 years ago, almost exactly, I believe it was June 1983, I made a photo that has become certainly one of my personal favorites, and a lot of other people like it too. And I made the photograph from this building here, well, what was a car park, across the street to a building on this side, the north side of Broadway. It would be the northeast side of Heather. And it was of a building that I wasn't quite sure really what it was at the time, but I suspected that it was an old gas station. So as I was making my very first print of this image, it became apparent that that indeed was the case, that it was originally a gas station. I think it was a carpet store at the time. And the reason that I could see that is because when I had the negative under the enlarger, I could see in the peeling and cracked paint on the front, you could read the word Texaco, just faintly. So for years afterwards, especially when with the advent of the internet and the ability to Google or whatever it was in those days, I've been searching for an original image. I thought, surely somewhere there must be an original image of that building as a gas station. No luck. Until in 2018, I received an email from a woman named Maya Hansen. And she said the same. She'd been looking for years to find if there was to discover if there was another image of this picture that she had in her possession of this old gas station, which was made in 1958 by her own father, Holger Hansen. So again, serendipity. And this is not the first time that I've had this kind of experience in Vancouver. I don't come here very often, but back in, I think it was 2015, I ended up in a hotel right above, looking down on Robson Street at an apartment that I rented there in 1979. So yeah, my old city of Vancouver, I always get a little bit nostalgic, lovelorn when I come here. This indeed was my neighborhood for 2 years, between about 1982 and 84. And I made lots of photographs around here. And I lived just up the hill here on 17th, where I'm going to be going pretty soon. As some of you may know, for a little bit of surgery up the hill here. The hospital is, you can probably see part of it, up at the hospital here, which, as I've said, some of you may know that I'll be out of action for a little while, but I do have some other stuff lined up in the meantime. Oh, right over here, we can also see City Hall. Made quite a few photographs around there. And right here is 8th Avenue. Broadway is 9th. 8th Avenue. I worked just right at the end of here on Cambie Street, where I also made lots of photographs. One of my most popular, just down Cambie Street from the old Cambie Street Bridge before they tore it down. It was an old swing bridge. Yeah, lots of nostalgia here. In a town that I really used to call my little jewel. I loved it here. It's really changed a lot, not the least of which is the traffic, which is just insane. Yesterday we were stuck in traffic. Just crazy, crazy traffic getting here from the ferry. There's a lot more high-rises than there used to be, especially over on the horizon there, which is Burnaby, an outlying area, not really of the city. It's its own separate city now, as we can see by those high-rises. So this image was made with my medium format camera, a Mamiya Flex, which took 120 film. And I used that camera for a lot of my more formal street shots that I made over those years, between about 1983, when I bought that Mamiya Flex camera, through to 86 when I moved to Toronto. But yeah, I wandered around the streets here. Actually, I would strap my big old Tiltal aluminum tripod and that Mamiya Flex medium format camera itself, not a light camera, all around Vancouver. Like I said, this was my old neighborhood here. Actually, this section, except for that building, which wasn't there, this section of Broadway hasn't changed that much. There's still a lot of low-rise buildings. However, the building in question, that was then, as I said, a carpet store, I think, at the time that I photographed it. It later became a plant store. I photographed it again at night a couple of years later. That is now just a nondescript. They took all that wonderful faux Western style, Spanish style, whatever you want to call it, front off the building, and it's now just a square box and has been incorporated into a Michael's craft store. So completely, yeah, it's completely unrecognizable from what it was. I don't know why they have to strip away what little bit of history as such we have here in North America, Vancouver in particular. It's really becoming unrecognizable as the city that I lived in back in the 80s and early 90s until I moved to Vancouver Island in 1991. I still, as I said, I still have there's a little bit of my heart here, especially when I look out. I can see down that way, actually not quite today since the clouds have come in, some of the mountains that I climbed in my climbing days. But yeah, it's still here, and so am I, more importantly, at least parts of me. Well, I hope the audio is okay. It's very, very noisy. That's one of the things, man, the noise. I'm so used to quiet where I live on southern Vancouver Island now. Now, as far as gear on this trip, I'm living dangerously, carrying just one body, the Nikon Zf, which is perfect for traveling. Then lenses, I'm carrying 2 zooms, an F mount, 24-70 f2.8, and a 14-30 Z mount f4. Then I'm also carrying the 40mm f2 lens, nice compact, that's the SE special edition that I have. And that's great for out and about on the streets here. I'll be carrying it later today as I walk up into my old neighborhood. Audio, I'm using the Rode Wireless Pro with a little lav mic here. We'll see how that's doing with all the road noise that's bouncing around on the walls here. Now, I have to say that I would love to have that 24-200 f4 Z mount lens. What else would be good there? I don't think I'd need up to the 400. I was actually thinking last night that when I was shooting over here, the city hall was lit up purple for whatever reason. And yeah, I could have used a 400, but I'd be quite happy with that 24-200. I think that would suit my purposes very well. I'm sure that those of you who own it know that it's just a perfect travel lens. So that's what I'm carrying. I've also got my iPhone, and also I am carrying a GoPro Hero 8. That's been in the bag. I haven't pulled it out yet. I don't know if I'll be using that because, again, the ZF is just so nice. Not too heavy, so nice for even vlogging. Of course, that's what I'm using right now. I just want to add another sort of personal observation here. When I think about myself 40 years ago in this neighborhood, walking these streets with my Mamiya Flex camera, my 35mm Nikon FM as well, quite often. It's really strange. It's almost like that. I mean, I have those memories. That's where they're coming from. But it seems like it was a movie I saw. I think maybe you have to be getting on a little bit, have some years behind you to maybe relate to this. So how many of you can relate to that? Is there times in your life that it almost seems kind of out there somewhere else, that it wasn't really you that did that, it was somebody else? Or like I said, it seems like a movie I saw. But it's real. I've got the journals, I've got the photos. It really was me who did that stuff so many years ago, and I really did live here, which is so different from where I live now. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. It's kind of interesting, I think. Well, I guess that's about it. Just thought I'd give you this little snippet of my personal history and the history of Vancouver. Please do give this the old thumbs up if you found it interesting. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, please do consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss future content. In the meantime, take care. Cheers. We'll see you later.